Being born into wealth already changes the rules of life. Being born into one of the most recognizable families on the planet changes them entirely. Kai Madison Trump entered the world in May 2007 as the daughter of Donald Trump Jr. and Vanessa Trump, instantly tying her life to a family name that carries global recognition, controversy, power, and attention. From the very beginning, privacy was never really an option. Cameras, headlines, and public curiosity were baked into the experience long before she could spell her own name. Yet Kai's story is not simply about money or inheritance. It's about growing up under a microscope in the digital age, navigating elite expectations, athletic ambition, and the strange reality of being famous before you've even figured out who you are. The Trump legacy and the weight of a last name. The Trump name didn't become powerful overnight. Its roots trace back to real estate development in New York, where the family built long-term wealth through property, branding, and expansion. Over time, that foundation evolved into a globally recognized business empire that touched luxury real estate, golf resorts, hospitality, and media. By the time Kai was born, the name Trump no longer referred only to buildings or businesses. It had become a cultural symbol. Growing up inside that legacy means growing up surrounded by influence. It also means inheriting expectations before you can consent to them. Every Trump child and grandchild is automatically viewed as a future decision maker, power holder, or public figure, whether they want that role or not. For Kai, that expectation arrived early and loudly. A childhood where luxury is the baseline. For most people, luxury is something you work toward, save for, or maybe experience once in a while as a reward. For Kai, luxury was never a destination, it was the starting point. Travel wasn't a once-a-year event planned months in advance, it was routine. High-end properties weren't aspirational Pinterest boards, they were places she actually lived, visited, or passed through. Private clubs, exclusive resorts, and elite social environments weren't reserved for special milestones. They were simply part of the background noise of growing up. That doesn't mean her childhood played out like a cartoon of endless champagne fountains and gold-plated everything. The reality is more subtle. When wealth is generational, extravagance becomes normalized. The shock value disappears. What replaces it is access. Access to better education, specialized coaching, safer environments, global exposure, and networks that quietly influence outcomes long before adulthood. Kai didn't grow up imagining what life could look like one day. She grew up inside a version of life most people only ever experience through screens, documentaries, or carefully edited social media posts. Golf, not a hobby, but a discipline. One of the most misunderstood parts of Kai's story is the assumption that she is simply a wealthy teenager enjoying a glamorous lifestyle online. In reality, golf has been a central, demanding part of her life. Competitive golf is not a casual pastime. It requires early mornings, long practice sessions, constant travel, and mental resilience that goes far beyond posting highlight photos. Kai attended the Benjamin School in Florida and committed to playing collegiate golf at the University of Miami, a path that filters out anyone unwilling to treat the sport seriously. Golf is a unique arena where privilege can open doors, better courses, better coaches, better exposure, but none of that guarantees success. Performance does, consistency does, work does. Her journey has included high-level tournaments, structured training, and a schedule that leaves little room for shortcuts. That reality became especially clear when she suffered a wrist injury that required surgery. Rehab is where illusions disappear. It's repetitive, uncomfortable, and mentally draining. It's showing up day after day to rebuild strength while progress feels painfully slow. No amount of money makes recovery easier when your body refuses to cooperate. That experience alone separates a casual participant from someone who is genuinely committed. Social media and the modern heiress effect. In earlier generations, children of wealthy or powerful families could grow up largely out of public view. They could make mistakes quietly, mature privately, and step into the spotlight only when ready. That version of childhood no longer exists. Social media collapses privacy by default, and Kai's online presence has become one of the primary ways the world engages with her story. Her posts offer curated glimpses into a lifestyle defined by travel, fashion, and elite settings. To supporters, it looks effortless and aspirational. To critics, it looks calculated or performative. The truth is more complicated. Social media is not reality, it is presentation. It rewards aesthetics, narrative, and consistency, not nuance. For someone like Kai, this creates both opportunity and risk. Every image reinforces a story, whether she intends it to or not. Every post invites interpretation from millions of strangers who don't know her personally but feel entitled to opinions anyway. Her digital presence functions as a personal brand, but it also acts as a constant reminder of the privilege she represents. That dual role is powerful, but it can also be suffocating. Public fascination and private pressure. The fascination surrounding Kai isn't driven solely by wealth. It's driven by proximity to power. People are curious about who she knows, where she goes, and what spaces she has access to. The assumption is that her social circle naturally includes influential figures, business elites, and cultural decision makers. That assumption feeds endless speculation and commentary. What often gets overlooked is the pressure that comes with those expectations. When greatness is assumed before you've chosen a direction, mistakes feel heavier. Growth feels less forgiving. Ordinary teenage trial and error becomes public material for judgment. Choices that would be forgettable for anyone else become symbols, statements, or controversies. For someone growing up in this environment, the challenge isn't just achieving success. It's forming an identity that isn't entirely shaped by outside projection. It's learning who you are while the world insists it already knows. Inheritance, myths, and reality. The internet loves numbers. It loves estimating net worth, projecting inheritance, and assigning future billions to people who are still teenagers. These narratives are neat, dramatic, and wildly misleading. The reality of wealth at this level is far less cinematic. It isn't a single vault waiting to be unlocked. It's a complex system of trusts, assets, businesses, legal structures, and long-term planning. What Kai is realistically positioned to inherit is not just money, but optionality. The ability to choose paths without immediate financial pressure. The freedom to take risks, explore interests, and pivot without the consequences most people face. That kind of freedom is powerful, but it comes with a trade-off. When failure is visible and success is expected, the stakes feel different. Anonymity disappears. Reinvention becomes harder. The margin for quiet experimentation shrinks. Wealth opens doors, but it also removes excuses. And in that sense, the inheritance that matters most isn't financial, it's the responsibility of deciding what to do when nearly every option is available. Legacy or reinvention. Kai's future remains unwritten, and despite public assumptions, it is not predetermined. She could pursue golf professionally, leveraging her training, visibility, and competitive background. She could step deeper into business, branding, or investment, following the entrepreneurial patterns of her family. She could choose politics, philanthropy, or something entirely outside public view. What makes her position unique is that every choice will be interpreted as symbolic. If she continues the family legacy, it will be seen as destiny fulfilled. If she rejects it, it will be framed as rebellion. Very few people get to choose a quiet middle ground when their last name already fills headlines. More than a name, less than a myth. It's easy to reduce Kai Madison Trump to a stereotype: rich, famous, privileged. It's also inaccurate. She is a young person growing up in an era where identity is shaped publicly, where mistakes are archived, and where expectations arrive early and stay loud. Her life includes luxury, yes, but it also includes discipline, scrutiny, and pressure most people will never experience. The money is obvious. The legacy is unavoidable. The challenge is personal. And perhaps that is the real story. Not what Kai has, but what she chooses to do with it. And that's the real story behind Kai Madison Trump. Not just the luxury you see online, but the pressure, expectations, and choices that come with a famous name. Her future is wide open, and how she shapes it will be just as interesting as where she comes from. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.